Yeah.
You refer to diabetes as a Qi deficiency, Yin deficiency, Jing deficiency.
All. But let me be more specific. It's primarily going to be, Qi moving to Jing deficiency. But with time, you begin to see, because it involves brain inflammation, you get a decrease in memory, decrease in circulation of the brain, and you do get twice as much Alzheimer's with it. But what I observe as psychiatrist is I can tell if somebody's diabetic just talking to them, in the store, and I can tell that their mind is not working as clear. I'll just put it that way. There's a just kind of lack of ability to focus and to think and memory. So you start to see these things early in the progression, but it does result in seriously, double the amount of Alzheimer's disease. That's the way I would tell you. But the process of chronic inflammation in the brain starts from the beginning. And then all you're doing is seeing it showing up more and more. That's kind of the way to understand it.
Is it reversible?
Ken. I in my 3-week program, pretty much, unless somebody's got Alzheimer's disease, pretty much we're seeing a return of clarity of mind within 3 weeks on the program. As well as the neuropathies reverse, close to often in 3 weeks, not always, but often.
Also neuropathy. Peripheral neuropathy.
Yes, that's what I meant, yeah. Yes, Ken, absolutely. These are treatable things. These are not irreversible. If it doesn't take 3 weeks, it may take 6 weeks, but we're talking a relatively short time. You kind of start adding that up, and you look at peripheral circulation, and you look at peripheral neuropathy, and you look at time lost from work, and if one were running an intelligent public health system, you would really put some emphasis on treating those things, and they're not that hard to treat. I mean, it would save billions of dollars, literally billions of dollars, and that's why I'm working at the governmental levels, because they got to figure it out. It's like in Papua New Guinea, 40% of the people have diabetes. It's like, oh, we need to do something here.
Something is wrong.
This is costing us too much money. We can't afford it. Generally speaking, it runs 7 to 13% of the health budget, but it's getting worse. It's going to get way out of hand in general. Israel's relatively not as bad. You take the Arab countries, and you're running 35, 40. Saudi Arabia, I think, is 40% of the adult population has diabetes. There's a town called Naf, it's in Israel. Only 15% of the Arab population doesn't have some level of diabetes, prediabetes or diabetes. Why? It took me a while to figure this out, because of the immense amount of sugar that people eat. Yeah, it's a food culture thing. So you're talking high sugar and high mutton. Those two things really contribute to diabetes, but sugar's the big player.
High sugar and high?
Mutton is sheep. Yeah. And this is all treatable, but we're really looking at countries that do that, and I say Papua New Guinea is high in sugar and high in diabetes. There's American Samoa has like 50%, but that's a small island. It's not quite the same thing, but it's huge, and it's easy to treat if you do it. Native Americans, we did a march across America for the Native Americans in terms of diabetes, because I healed the kind of chief of the whole thing, healed his diabetes, and he's diabetes-free, vegan, the whole thing. It's been a few years now, and he did this march across, and 90% of people in the Indian reservations, in every single one, had diabetes. It's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. So that's what's going on, because the worse your diet and the higher amount of sugar, you're going to have more diabetes. It's not like that complicated.
Self-inflicted.
Self-inflicted in one level, but culturally inflicted in another. Without getting too biblical here, God was talking to Moses in one of those informal, discussions. He said, if you follow my ways and give up the Egyptian ways, you're not going to have diabetes. He didn't say diabetes. You're not going to have all the diseases of the Egyptians. So just follow what I told you. What is the problem? Ego is the problem. But so the message is really clear. None of this is difficult. All the chronic diseases are, connected to very poor diet, particularly high sugar. And they're accelerating. It's like, it's just what's going on in the big picture. If we go back to the natural ways, what the Torah teaches us, in the society, it's like, it all get reversed. I mean, there's nothing, let's say, difficult. It's embarrassingly simple. Just see it that way, and you understand. I look at it, I'm thinking, what is going on? All over the world. I'm not talking Israel in particular. Israel is a lower amount than other places. It's like, how hard is this? It's not hard.
Is it because we eat a lot of vegetables in Israel?
No.
If you see common people, they're eating a lot of sugar in Israel.
I know, but they haven't caught up with the rest of the world. That's a good thing not to have got caught up with the rest of the world.
Maybe because we eat a lot of salads and stuff.
People eat more healthy here. So let's say you have 8%. 40%? See what I mean? 90%? Do you see where the 8% is relatively low? I mean, all over the world, it's a looming problem. Okay, if you get what I'm saying, it's looming. Some countries are already going bankrupt with it, because if you just look at the time lost from work, what it costs to do a heart transplant, what it costs to do to amputate a limb, I mean, it's like, and once you've lost your mind, you're not thinking right, you can't hold your job. I mean, the human cost is immense. And countries are beginning to see, wow, we can't afford this. That's what I'm talking about.